My name is Theavy Sok, and I was born and raised in Cambodia, Cambodian province. Yeah, it was in very small village, rural area of Chamkala district, Cambodian province, where I was born and grew up. You know, it was like very remote area, and the access of road was also very difficult in that time. And you know, it's kind of talking about my birthplace. It just happens in my mind about uh, visual related to the area where I born. You know, the rice field, the plantation, and especially the temple monastery, because I have been uh, um, admitted to stay in the temple with the Buddhist monks since I was 7 years old. So I was a temple boy since at the age of 7 years, and from then I continued to stay in the temple until now. I am 31 years old right now, and I came here in December 2018, which is now 1 year and I think 1 year and 4 months by now. Yeah, I've been here twice. In 2016 was my first time visiting USA, and second was in 2017, and this is the third time I uh, got the immigration to live here. Well, for me, it's not that difficult concerning with how I got accepted the immigration card to live here, because it was sponsored by the temple and my community here. And then I think a little bit of the difficulty back in Cambodia was about preparing documents, and you know, like for me, because I've been staying abroad more than 6 months, like in Myanmar, in Sri Lanka. So to get immediate documents like the clearance certificate is a little bit of such, you know, it takes time for me to get those certificates from other countries like Burma and Sri Lanka. Yeah, it had taken my time like 1 or 2 months to completely get all the documents from overseas. So for myself, a little bit difficulty concerning with preparing the documentation uh, to get approved by the U.S. Embassy to be here. Of course, even though I moved in here, but most of the time I always think about going back and have my society in Cambodia, especially the temples, monastery, which still need to be developed in terms of education, in terms of material sources that I think I want to have them uh, in the future. And right now I am also doing that along the way. I'm trying my best to support the communities in Cambodia to the best of my ability. And yeah, most of the time I'm thinking about how can I have improved the life of young monks and you know, kids in the rural areas who are lack of access to education and the living standards. I want to see that the younger generation uh, learn their language, understand their culture, know where their roots come from, know their history, and especially become educated, so that this become a helpful and useful resource to develop our society. I guess I would suggest them to learn Khmer language in order to understand each culture. The best way is people should learn the language at the very beginning. And because I see that not just for foreigners, but even for uh, Cambodians who born in overseas, because they don't know the language, they don't speak the language. So it's hard to really understand the culture, because in the language, um, it also constitute the culture in the language. You represent yourself, your identity when you speak your language. So in the same way, when you know your language, it's the closest tool to get to know culture in um, in the broad way. Uh, well, I think we, as Cambodian, our elders have gone through hardships and calamities during the last 30 or 40 years. And as a younger generation, through my investigation, study history and culture, and observe the present situation in the country, and uh, due to my research within the Cambodian community in USA as well, I believe that I want to see that Cambodian people become more educated, learn more, and they need to build uh, the sense of patriotism, the sense of love and caring for one's culture, language, nation, and history. Admire and disseminate, propagate the culture, spread uh, and share the good customs and tradition that we have as a Cambodian to the world, because I see that this is still very limited in our community in terms of what we uh, let the world know who we are and who we represent. I think this is the best part that I'm really concerning about, that Cambodian people, including monks, not just lay people, but the monks as well, should work hard to guide the people to get more exposed with society and help society, especially in times of need, in times of ups and downs in life. You know, like in this situation amid the outbreak of COVID-19 or something. I want to see that as a Cambodian monks, what can we have to contribute to the world? So that would be my best concern for now. This lay person, I remember having my whole family coming, to the temple together, because in Cambodia, people are also very busy with their plantation, harvestation, planting. So whenever the New Year comes, it always brings a smile to every family because they hope to be reunion. So this memory always stick in my mind whenever we talk about Khmer New Year or Bon Choi Nam Thmai. Yeah, yeah, New Year. If I talk about if the best part of the memory uh, concerning with the traditional popular games that I think most of people always enjoy about the Khmer New Year, and the food is like the Khmer potluck. Whenever the New Year comes, people gathering and bring foods and offering to the temple. So after the monks, they all uh, enjoy. The food, the Khmer traditional food. We have so many kinds of traditional food. So in New Year, maybe um, for the food in New Year, I think for Cambodian, especially when we talk about the life of farmers and the life of those who live in the rural areas, we always appreciate the bobo, bobo so, and we also have the um, some log cocoa, and then sometimes they also do the num and som or num bot during the New Year. So this is what comes to my mind when I think about the foods in Khmer New Year. Yeah, I remember when before I moved to live in the temple. I remember my parents they brought me to the temple at the first time to join the Khmer New Year, and that time I was like frightened, because I was scared of what is the temple, and to see the monks and to talk to the monks as a young kid. I was a little bit hesitate to go there, but because my parents also were the Buddhists by birth, so they cooked their meal. Especially, I remember there's some local code that they cooked to bring to the temple and offer to the monks. So it remind me of this past story that one day my parents, my dad and mom brought me to the temple, and they uh, brought with them some local code to offer the monks during the Khmer New Year. I think it was back when I was, uh, I think, 8 years old. Yeah. Well, it's different because when I was a layperson, we usually brought a donation to the monks. But when I myself become a monk, I received the donation from the people, from the donors. So, but as a monk, because I have most of my experience are in the monkhood, so I can see that New Year's in many sides, in many phases of the story. Like because I usually investigate the activities, the whole 3 or 4 days of New Year celebration. I can see every activity that people gather in the temple and they celebrate. They were happy together. They come to the temple together as a family. Uh, People from different places, and they bring all different kinds of food, and they play together. They share smile and laughter. After having taken the lunch, they join and play the traditional uh, popular games like Bahang Kun, like Chao Chung, like Ting Prot, and or something. Um, so I can see more activities because those activities happened in the temple. Before I was a monk, because I only spend time at home, so I don't normally see much of the activity happens in the temple. And when I became a monk, so I got a chance to see more activities, more things going on in the temple. It's one is to continue to practice the custom and tradition which has been practiced by our ancestors, because Khmer New Year happens a long time ago. You know, we have a lot of inscriptions that talk about the Khmer New Year, like the inscription in the 12th century or 13th century. Even though it has some differences in the way they celebrate, but the main purpose is that our ancestors want to see that our people have a chance to get together and share good smiles, share good things together by bringing foods, bringing offerings, and do wholesome actions, you know, performing good deeds like charity, like observing moral precepts from the monks, practicing meditation in the temple, listening to the Dhamma talk, listening to the Parita chanting, you know, all those things. Our ancestor, you know, they want to see that as a Cambodian, because we also follow and practice Buddhism, the teachings of the Buddha. So even Khmer New Year is a traditional celebration, but most of the things are related to Buddhism, because this culture has been uh, you know, completely linked and connected with the teachings of the Buddha, as Khmer people a long time ago have accepted and practiced the teachings of Buddhism. So Buddhism has played a very important role in the culture of Khmer people. That is why in the New Year celebration, most of the time people gathering to the temple, they celebrate in every temple across the country. Yeah, there are some differences, I think, in terms of spaces, because in the United States, some temples are small, and because of the access, you know, because here in the United States, concerning the public spaces, sometimes are not allowed for us to march the procession, like, you know, like Kabal Mahapram, the four faces or the head of the Mahabrahma. So we cannot do it on the street. You know, if we do it, we have to ask for permission or something. But in Cambodia, because New Year become the spirit of all Khmers, so when the New Year comes, everybody knows. So all activities that related to New Year are not even required to ask permission, because everybody knows that this is the New Year activity. So people can have freedom to march, to do whatever they want in order to celebrate their happiness and joy within the New Year. And sometimes people go from place to place, travel around the country. They went from one temple to another across the provinces, and they along the street they also play around, like pouring water, spraying water at one another, you know. But here in the United States we don't see these activities, but in Cambodia people still do that. Sometimes they play by applying powder to each other's face, you know, because they don't mind each other during the New Year. They said in their mind, they think that New Year, we need to be new. We start new thing, new mind, and we let go of our attachment, of our discrimination. So let's come and play together, uh, like a family. No matter if you don't know each other. So they open their mind to get involved each other from different places. So people are very happy during the New Year. They can meet and know new people, new friends as well, and meeting old relatives and friends as well. Yeah, yeah. We face a problem due to this quarantine, that people are not allowed to go out and meet with other people. So this has been a problem for a few weeks already to the temple, because last days we have some funerals happen, some invitation got cancelled, and some funeral we did not reject them, because we understand the situation that they are indeed suffering. So we needed to take action. You know, it's hard for all of us, especially the donors who always like to come to the temple in the time of Khmer New Year, that they believe this is the biggest traditional celebration of the year. And if they cannot come directly, they feel disappointed. They think that they cannot make offerings to the monk and dedicate merit to their departed persons, something like that. But anyway, because we have to uh, follow the rules and regulations set by the states, so we also figure out some other ways that can, you know, um, better our situation. So last time uh, we got some invitation for the funeral services. So we also schedule the online meeting like this. The donors, they can arrange all their family members from different states, even in different countries. So I like the video here from on Facebook, the monks chanting, and we also gave Dhamma talk, and also share some speech concerning the funeral. Uh, and that's how people can still connect it and figure out during this quarantine season. We still can do charity. We have other ways to transfer money. Sometimes you want to offer food to the monk, so you can just send money to the temple by check or something, and people here, like Nyom Wat or the grandmas who live here, they can have cook the food and offer the monks instead of you coming. So I think that is also one of the ways that we can still work during this quarantine season. We use the Microsoft Teams, and we schedule the Dhamma talk from different countries. Yeah, me from here, and another monk from Sri Lanka, and three people from Cambodia. So we want to get together and share the Dhamma talk on my New Year 2020. It was like the problem with the live video to Facebook, but uh, one day after we figured out you can do just like I uh, mentioned above, that maybe you can schedule a meeting, and for uh, the sake of many people, if you want some other friends and relatives to also see our activities here in the temple. The monks can chanting here at the temple, as we normally do every day. We do the chanting from here. But if there is the request from the people, invitation, we can do the chanting and the Dhamma talk at the temple, and maybe we can figure out how to set up a virtual meeting either on Zoom, or either I can do the video live on Facebook, so all your friends and family can watch and you know, paying attention, listening to the Dhamma. You know, we just try to do good deed by listening, by paying attention, you know, because bon or meritorious deeds is done through our volition, through our intention, no matter where we are, no matter how far we are. But if we have good volition, and that is good karma, that is merit that happens in everyone's mind, not just by coming directly or not, but in terms of material donation. I think you can figure it out, yeah, by yeah, maybe check or something, just like those people in the past did. Yeah. Just a little bit of a piece of idea that I want to share to all my folks, my people around the world, is that we know that the Khmer New Year is very, very compulsory for all of us to remind us that 1 year has passed by and New Year is coming. At the same time, our life also is cutting shorter and shorter each and every moment. So this is a contemplation that we can reflect upon the nature of our life. This is one thing, and another thing that I want people to consider about the Khmer New Year this 2020, because we cannot gathering and meet each other directly, and also the celebration in the temple were all cancelled because of the rules and regulation of the state. But we can still do on, you know, by our own, at our own house, you know, with your family. We can still do the Khmer New Year. And you know, some people think that going out can make them happy, meeting people directly can make them happy. But right now, within this situation, I think you should make yourself happy by staying home with your family, with your parents, and doing all the good things that benefit to your family. This is the best time that you have enough opportunity to serve your beloved person in the family. And so don't be upset that you cannot celebrate physical New Year or coming to the temple as usual. But believe me that happiness depends on our volition, on our intention, on our action and speech. If we act, if we speak, and if we think good, then this is good that we are developing during this new year. So happiness will be developed every time when we have the good heart for ourselves and for others, no matter if we cannot go out, but we still can generate a lot of peace and happiness within ourselves and share with our beloved families nearby. So Happy New Year, and please stay safe and stay healthy. Take care of yourself and your family. Thank you.